So I might as well explain before the timestamp here, but yeah, so if anything happens during the week or next 2 weeks, or even just this month, I will let you know by a video or a discussion post, preferably a video, and or you know, in some way, shape, or fashion. And the only other thing to say about that afterward, as we get Ath Colt, I'm just going to assume you have random item stats, but I'm only going to do 2 custom mysteries, is that if I do not make a video or post for about a week, then just know it's bad. And if I don't do so after a month, then something really bad has happened that has nothing to do with what I've ever talked about before. But, as we get back to it here, so, I mean, it's not like I missed much. I haven't been gone for long, but, yeah, still need to take care of things. So, let's get focused as we get into Ath Colt random item stats custom character. This is not Harbinger difficulty, and if it is, I'm going to quit. Yeah, that was True Believer. I was like max 13 stamina, max 13 reason. That's because True Believer does that. Harbinger, on the other hand, does have a lot of bad things innate anyway, but mainly I was looking for the graphic. So, as we actually get into Ath Colt random item stats custom character, again, keeping in mind that basically this is the second video, so I should be switching characters after this video, but strength, second mystery, second encounter, charisma, dexterity, and maybe a light check. Do I want to try and run? No, let's try and run a Colt shop. I'm gonna regret it, but depends on random item stats. It could be really good though, so let's see what happens. We're essentially flipping a coin here. And finding out. And in fact, RNG is on our side, because there are 2 weapons we can look for in the occult shop, which isn't so bad. But if both of those items are not great, yeah, we'll have to see. Household L, Scissors, Coma, Flat, and Shuttle. I think I recently added Flat as well. But let's be sure of what I want to do. So Coma last, Scissors at some point, Shuttle and Flat as well, but we'll say Flat for third. I think Flat is harder than Scissors, but don't quote me on that until I find out for sure what's going to happen. So, we're going to sell these library notes. Maybe the energy drink sells for 1 fund as well? No. We do start with lucky earrings, but if they sell for funds, I'm selling that off too. Like, it's just so, for those who don't know, it's just so important to try and get funds to buy a weapon. And in fact, we did not get a single thing, but it's 1 less doom to reroll here. And yeah, we don't see anything else, but so a 5 damage ritual dagger with 8 knowledge. This is pretty cool, but it could have easily been pretty bad. So 3 damage ritual dagger compared to a 5 damage ritual dagger is it's very huge. It's very huge. So. Put the police patrols in the school, and let's move on. Otherwise, moving on to more contemporary things, I did see a lot of, let's just say, announcements for upcoming games, which is quite interesting. Katana, by the way. Alright, never mind, we're switching weapons. Even if there's 107 speed, it's a lot to do 12 to 13 damage. Preferably 13 damage. The reason for that is some enemies scale to that sweet spot 25 HP range, I feel, but for the most part 12 damage can get you a good 12 damage per turn can get you a lot. I don't remember anything at all, but we did get the notes, so knowledge check. I knew one of them is knowledge, but I didn't remember which one. But yeah, doing 12 damage is pretty important. Allows you to 2-shot a lot of enemies, and even if you're taking, say, minus for all, which you shouldn't normally be taking, but if you take it like once or twice in separate times during the run, it's not so bad. Another example, prevalent example, is the aspiring model slash obsessed man fights, which get double damage after pretty much the first turn, because you're usually just going to attack, but you don't have to deal with the double damage, and you just take, usually, -3 stamina, -3 reason, or something else. We take 6 doom, so be it. If we were on Knight Errant, on the other hand, that would have been very bad. But basically, the katana and likewise other weapons of the sort are pretty good. Which is why I don't mind Shovel as much, although Shovel is lacking, because Shovel, unfortunately, only has, I think, 9 damage on a strong. So, again, that's way below the threshold. Threshold in this case meaning being able to 2-shot enemies, 2-turn enemies. By the way, we're on timeline B, 5 claps is our guess, and off we go. But yeah, it's kind of important. So even if I can do 10 damage, unless I can fit in a brace comfortably, which this character can't with about 4 strength, you might as well switch to a larger weapon essentially with the katana. And if you're using certain plugins for World of Horror, then you can, if you're using custom items, any custom item, whether it base game, maybe we get it in the future or not, if it does, even sometime, well, you can't do 11 damage. I was trying to think. I stuttered there because I was thinking of a time in which Prep Strong does 11 damage. That's bonus damage, but what I mean is obviously base damage, so you're either going to do... Actually, why do I do 13 damage? Oh, because 9. But yeah, if your weapon does base 8 damage, then you've got a pretty good weapon on your hands, and more importantly, it overrides using faster weapons because of how important it is to be able to... you break a lot of mathematical thresholds being able to two-shot most encounters, whether it's taking damage or dealing damage. And in the case of dealing a lot of damage, it's for bosses as well. Most bosses in World of Horror don't have more than 36 HP, which if you do at least 12 damage, you are able to do so in 3 turns. Now, if you take 6 all damage in those 3 turns, that's one thing, but that's still a good trade-off. It is, like, I can't stress how important it is. 5 claps in a row, by the way, hold on. Yeah, 5 claps. Time to win the 3.0675%. Am I getting that right? Oh my goodness, I can't do math right now. But anywho, off we go. But yeah, doing a lot of damage is very, very efficient in this version of World of Horror. Until we get enemies that are chunkier or they have more HP but do less damage because of a boss. It's weird because the scaling of a boss or an enemy that has a lot of HP but still does, say, the same amount of damage as most other enemies means that the katana will still win out, or more conceptually speaking, weapons that are slower but deal a lot of damage still win out because you want to be able to get out of an encounter quickly. Again, until that dynamic changes, even if they're just 2 enemies, that won't... you can't really change the meta of World of Horror. Now, obviously, you can... Just making sure I was picking the right decision there. You can use custom content to essentially shift the balance itself. But again, what I mean by that is adding unique mechanics, which we currently can't really do with base World of Horror, even with base modding capabilities. So another example, so say this enemy we're fighting has 42 HP. With the katana, funny enough, we get to... assume we can't kick here. With the katana, we get to near 3-shot this enemy, and if we throw the wooden bat, we definitely do. But then we're only taking 6 stamina damage, so... For the faster weapon, you have to figure out how to deal... The potential damage is lower, therefore you're in an encounter for longer. That's what I'm trying to say here. But we definitely do throw the wooden bat. And we take our 6 stamina damage. Actually... We brace here. So, and then this is why braces are strength. By indirect association, strength is important too, assuming we hit this attack. Okay, good. Is because being able to brace... Because bracing on odd damage lowers damage in your favor, so 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, but the game rounds that down. Strength is therefore more valuable because being able to fit in a brace and then get close enough to Desperate Struggle, which is why Desperate Struggle is so good, and then you double the damage on a slow weapon with high damage, results in what you saw, just like 27 HP's worth of damage. So now I'm not at 1. I wouldn't be at 1 strength if I had just gone my way and did prep strong, prep strong, prep strong. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Period. That's the end of the sentence. Funny enough, we're going to take quick thinking here. I don't remember my mysteries, but I think, yeah, we have some mansion investigation. So what that means... oh, that's right, we have television as well. Well, it should be fine. But once we get into Household Hell, we might want to use quick thinking to avoid... a bad result. Let's grab these painkillers, by the way. If we run into out of funds, we'll trade off reason. We should not need more than about 4 reason, although Again, anything could happen here, so if we just... I mean, we rolled a 12. Shrug. But we do have Doom to spare, so we will rest a few times. Now, funny enough, now I do want my reason to drop, so I can just rest. But as we get an HP proccing curse, I don't know what to call them. Let's just take the reason here. And Doom, but I have the Doom to spare. Suicidal and Paranoia. Paranoia? No. I'm going crazy. Anywho, off we go. So, nothing to do here. Just move on. And now, if we keep at 6 stamina, we should be okay. Here's out of funds as to be expected. Can I sell these, by the way? I would like to get a pack of cigarettes if possible. The answer is no for the moment, but you never know. The box cutter is an interesting pick if you want to go for more attacks during a turn. So the potential damage in the box cutter is higher, but the risk is higher as well because you're not guaranteed to hit all, in this case, let's say all 4 attacks, if I can even do 4 attacks. But even just 3 attacks can be really bad. So let's just attack because we didn't get our way. And this is not a gamble, 18 damage. Very specific. If this encounter had more power, we wouldn't be able to do that guaranteed, but you get the point. Also, we have Fast Swimmer as well, which is very, 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 very helpful. But a big part of that, for those who don't know, as we kind of just autopilot through this, is that encounters are a big source of damage. Right up there, right above events and failing event checks. But yeah, encounters, including bosses, especially bosses, result in more pain. In fact, yeah, this is quite fortunate because we get to brace and take 1 all instead of 3 all. Even if this was Mystery 3 or 2 or the first Mystery, we would be able to do this, assuming we had the Katana, because we would brace and take 1 all damage anyway. So, again, indirectly, Strength is a very powerful stat. And for that reason, as much as I may, it may sound like I'm complaining, but really it's making a joke. The fact that we don't have a general perk to increase Strength by 1 is quite balanced, because, again, being able to double down on Dexterity is already good enough. As odd as that sounds to say from me, it is still very powerful. So if you were to give that to a stat that actually makes a bigger difference than Dexterity, in my opinion at least, yeah, that's very powerful. 8 Strength is that you can do a lot of good things with 8 Strength because of Brace, and if you so happen to be using a Strength weapon, by the way, the game tried to sneak past another 12 roll, by the way, but if you happen to be using a Strength weapon, you get to double dip into the benefits of building that 1 stat. Also, our stamina is suffering. Do we have anything for that? No, we don't. I hope this mansion isn't high threat level. It seems like it might be. 8 knowledge. Nope, because we rolled another 12. But anywho, funny enough, I want the... No, we want the sewing kit, because we want the ability to recover stamina. I accidentally almost misclicked there, by the way, but it's fine. And 1 shot, because Katana. Like, yeah. Keep in mind, the reason why that does 27 damage is because, so 9... times 1.5 is 13.5, and that is the result that is multiplied by 2, so 13.5 times 2, 27. So instead of our damage being rounded down, we get other stuff. Also, pain, but thankfully we get out of this mystery, and let's take a peek at the lighthouse before I take a bath. So, second, so 8 Doom, 10 Doom, Strength, Dexterity, Charisma, and a light check if we have that, which we don't. So we are taking 3 Stamina, 2 Reason. So we should be fine. And the reason I say that is because we are about to increase our Strength to 8. That is, never mind, we don't get the bath. Still though, so that's more Stamina. So your second takeaway of this video, for those who don't know, is... So I can heal stamina by 2, but if I take strength and keep it at 8 for when we enter the lighthouse, then we can avoid losing 3 stamina, which effectively is more stamina saved, is the more accurate way to put it. I can't speak right now. It is kind of the nighttime for me right now, so hey, we'll rest once for giggles, but off we go. So I think I need, I didn't get to use bat, so I actually needed to rest there. But we took scissors second and don't need to worry about in fact, I could have rested more. If I lose this run, it's all my fault. So, I don't remember actually. I'm just gonna say the aspiring model. It was not. Don't really care, but really I should stop failing that check. Lose 2 reason here. Which is an interesting design choice. Usually, as you saw, as you may have seen, lighthouse checks remove 3 stamina. But in that specific instance, aside from the light check, you lose 3. But yeah, without further ado, not going to take up too much more of your time. If you have anything to say, support, so on and so forth, you know what to do. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!